Hello everyone, it's Rachel here from Makers Gonna Learn, and I'm so excited to bring you this really awesome, very informative video. If you do not know who we are or what we do, we run an amazing membership website for die cutting machines. Any die cutting machine that works with SVG and PNG cut files, you can use with our membership. We have amazing things that a lot of other memberships do not have, such as a free commercial license, a members only Facebook group. We have amazing printable guides, and of course for our yearly members, they get access to amazing fonts and that free commercial license, along with some free e-courses and a lot of other goodness. On top of all of that, of course, we also have cut files. We have over 2,000 of them, and all we do, guys, is aim to inspire you guys to create better crafts and to become better, more confident crafters, and that's what we love to do. So if you guys want to be a part of that awesome community, do it, guys. You will not regret it at all. And today, in today's video, which is all about Waterslide decals, you guys actually get the cut files that I'm using today for free. So definitely get those down below. Find the link wherever it's at and grab these, because you're going to want to use them. You're going to want to use them all the time, not just for Waterslide decals, but for all sorts of things. They are so cute. So today, guys, we're going to be going over Waterslide decals, how to apply them properly, what you can use to seal them, the proper procedures, the proper products you want to use, Waterslide paper, the differences in some of the brands, and then we're also going to actually show you guys 3 demonstrations of different types of Waterslide decals. We're going to be placing one on a mug, on a keychain, and on a metal frame here. So it is going to be beautiful. I can't wait to get started, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over some supplies that we're going to need today. So of course we're going to start out with our Waterslide paper, and I did do some research, guys, and while I do stand firm on that the Waterslide paper does not matter as much as the polyurethane, there are some brands that are better than others. So the brand that we like the most is this brand right here. Of course, I will let you guys know where you can get it. I get it off of Amazon. It's Sunny Scopa Inkjet Waterslide decal paper, and it's relatively inexpensive, and it does a really good job. I'll show you guys on the second camera here in a bit, but the print quality is quite different. It just kind of printed a little bit better. There was less streaks. At first I thought it was my printer when I actually printed it on a different brand first, which is this Hayes Paper Co. I thought it was my printer that was being a little bit odd, but turns out it was the paper. It did not take the ink as well as this Sunny Scopa brand did. So that is probably my biggest tip when purchasing Waterslide paper. And guys, you guys are free to buy several different types and test them out yourself and see which ones you like best. I in no way tested every type of Waterslide decal paper. If you have one that you already love, stick with it. I'm sure that it will work just fine for this video, or for this project, excuse me. And along with that, you're also going to need your blanks. So again, we are going to be using a Tumbler here. We did get ours already white, but you can get stainless steel ones from Walmart that are super cheap, or things like that, and tape them up and spray paint them in a well ventilated area. That's totally fine too, but it is important that the background of these Waterslide decals are white, just because whenever you put a Waterslide decal on something clear, since the decal paper itself is clear, it kind of almost disappears. You can't really see your image very well. You need that white background to really make all those colors and everything pop. So along with that, we are also needing these really cute acrylic circles here. Now, these guys are coated in this like little plastic stuff that you can peel off. You can peel one side off and add your Waterslide decal so that the back is white, or you can paint the back, or you can use epoxy and some cute little silicone trays and make your own. Whatever you want to do, again, just make sure that background is white. So we are using these little acrylic rounds. And then we also picked up this guy here, and he is from, I think, Michael's. He was $10. It's just a metal sign, and it is very slick, and it of course is white, so that is great. If you guys find another type of metal sign that you like, again, feel free to spray paint that or hand paint that before you Waterslide on it. But I do want to note as well that you don't want to be using any kind of chalky finish paints if you do decide to do that. You do want these slick, so any kind of gloss paint or anything like that should be fine. I opt to buy it as is because I love to eliminate all the variables that could possibly give me a craft fail. So if I had to hunt a little extra harder for a white metal sign, then so be it. But I know that I'm going to have great project success with that because I didn't have to paint it myself or anything like that. But don't be afraid to go that route if you would like to. Okay, you're also going to need water for these Waterslide decals. We have two different water types in two different containers. I don't know how to say it. We have a Tupperware bowl here, and it's only filled up with like an inch and a half of water, something like that. It doesn't have to be a lot of water. You don't have to, submerge it in a foot of water or anything like that. Just enough to get it good and wet. And then we also have a little spray bottle here, and the important thing about this guy is that he has the nozzle that you guys can change around to make it either like a steady stream coming out or a little mist. So that's what we're going to be using today in the mist for sure. And then you're also going to need a ton of paper towels. So we have a whole roll here on the work surface, and this is a water slide video for you guys. So it's going to be slippy and slidey and wet all over the place. So we're going to need a lot of paper towels for us. Now, we are also going to be wiping these down and getting them clean with rubbing alcohol. You guys know we love doing this with vinyl projects. Same goes with Waterslide decals. We want to make sure there's nothing underneath that decal when we lay it on there to potentially get it stuck or not adhere the way we want it to. So we're going to be able to wipe those clean with our alcohol. We're also going to need some scissors because there is an option to freehand some of these designs and just kind of cut around them. And I'll show you how to do that in Design Space. Because again, the backing is clear on this and it just kind of prints out what we want it to. So it doesn't necessarily have like a border around it unless you make a border around it. So you can freehand cut those, or you can cut those in Design Space, whatever you want to do. So I'll show you how to do that both ways today. Let me see, I think I'm getting to the end of this. Also, guys, we're going to talk about sealing them, which is why I have all this extra stuff here. Now, you do need polyurethane just to make them in general. It really doesn't matter what kind. I have used the clear gloss and I have used the clear satin. One thing that is kind of odd that I do want to note, that might just be my machine, I don't know. Sometimes if I use the gloss, the clear gloss, it will not recognize my registration marks as well, because you guys know after you print this out, you do have to add several layers of polyurethane. And I think just with all the layers and all the gloss, the Cricut has a hard time seeing those registration marks for some reason. So maybe it would be better to do the clear satin. So maybe try that. But really, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It might not be this product at all. It's just the only thing I could think of as a solution. So you will need a type of polyurethane spray. It doesn't matter. We do love this Minwax fast drying brand, so grab that too, unless you guys already have that. And then you can also choose to seal your entire project with this if you'd like, or we have two other options to seal your projects with, which is a dishwasher safe Mod Podge and epoxy. So I'm not going to be demonstrating how to seal all of these for you guys today. I'm just going to kind of be showing you guys how you can if you would like to. So if you're doing a mug and you know you want to put it in the dishwasher, I would opt for either epoxy or the dishwasher safe Mod Podge. If you're doing the sign, I would easily spray that with the fast drying polyurethane spray. And, just work with it like that. Depending on how durable you want these or how long you want them to last, is totally dependent on you and what kind of sealer you want to use. You don't have to seal them by any means. They will stay just fine for quite a while. But if you just want to go that extra mile, these three products are a great little idea to do that. And guys, just before we head into Design Space, I wanted to show you guys the papers that I did buy and test. I have more than these and I've used more than these, but these two are the ones I've used on this particular project. And I really like this one. So this is that Sunny Scopa brand, and this is this Hayes Paper Co. And this is the Sunny Scopa. You guys kind of can tell a difference here. So this went on really well. It printed beautifully. The registration marks are great and crisp. And one big thing about this, with this little cute file, and again guys, you get these for free. So you get this adorable Cactus file, and he actually comes with a llama. Guys, it's like a 2-for-1. So go get this guy. He comes with a cute little cactus and then a little llama that you guys are going to love. And then you get this adorable lovebirds file. And this one on the other brand I will show you, it almost looked like it was running out of ink. But on this one you can see it's completely crisp and clear and beautiful. And is that not the cutest little cut file ever? And then last but not least, we're going to be using this beautiful truck today to go on our sign. This is such a beautiful truck, guys. We have so many of these at Maker's Gonna Learn, and you guys get this one for free. So be sure to go ahead and grab all these cut files. And guys, we have, I want to say we have like 15 trucks, and this is just one of them, and it's beautiful, perfect for spring, perfect for Easter, things like that. You know, it's just a beautiful little truck. And again, it printed beautifully. I absolutely love the way it turned out. And again, this was this brand here. And now we're going to go over this brand. So let me show you guys the difference. So here's the difference at first. I can tell it's not as bright of a color if I'm being brutally honest here. And then I go over here and here's our little truck. And now my fault was that I did accidentally leave bleed on. So that's why it's kind of, you know, bled a little over here. So that's not the paper's fault necessarily. But it kind of was smudgy, and this brand needed a lot more time to dry before you added the polyurethane. But look at the brightness difference, guys. Look how much brighter this is than this truck. Like, is that not crazy? So that's the truck file, and then here's our lovebirds. You can see what I was talking about. Look in the middle there. It almost looks like our printer was running out of ink, but it was just the paper. So definitely be mindful of that whenever you choose to get your Waterslide paper. I always say that it really is important about the polyurethane mostly, but now that I've tested so many different brands of paper, if you want to go the extra mile and just make sure you have the best paper, totally do that. We do love this brand. And again, I'll show you guys that up close if you guys want to grab this. It's a really good brand though. I'm not sure how many sheets come in it. I know that, oh, here it is. It tells you right here. So we got the pack with 10, and you can get 20 or 100, and you can actually get it clear or white. So guys, if you get it white, then that would kind of eliminate the need of having to have white bases, which would be kind of nice. So keep that in mind as well. And I also wanted to give you a little peek at the ones that we have finished today. So these were just some little testers that we had. And here is our really cute tumbler here. I absolutely love the way it turned out. It's so cute. And then here's our little keychain guy here. I mean, I love this little cactus. It doesn't really get any cuter than this. And we just added a little keychain hook to our little acrylic piece here. So these are super cute, and I'm going to show you guys how to make these and then that beautiful truck sign. So let's go ahead and get into Design Space. Alright, so here we are, and here are the 3 cut files that we're going to be using today. And I will show you guys how we imported these, because we did import these a little bit differently. Now, the lovebirds was very self-explanatory. I'm not going to show you guys that one. These are all PNGs, of course, so you just upload them very easily. For the lovebirds, you know, you just go on through and click continue. You really don't need to do any contouring or any switching around with that one. And then I will show you guys how we imported the cactus and the truck. So let's go ahead and start with our cactus here. And look at that llama, guys. This comes with it. How cute is he? So you can absolutely use the llama too if you'd like. The only problem is it's kind of white on white there, so just be mindful of that. But that doesn't mean there isn't 100 things that you could use that llama for as well. So we're going to go down here and click complex. It just kind of makes, you know, make sure the colors are really sharp and things like that. And then when you click continue, you get to go through here and you select what you want, delete what you don't, and things like that. But what's super easy for this guy is we could go through and, you know, start clicking on this guy with select and erase, or we can go up here to the top over here. It says select and erase, erase and crop. So we're going to click crop here, and then all we're going to do is crop out our little cactus. So there, looky there, it's so easy. Now we're going to click continue, and we're going to save it as a print and cut image, and just click save. And now he is right there on our recently uploaded images. And now let's go ahead and get our truck. And again, we're just going to click complex and click continue. Now this guy is going to be a little bit trickier, and I will tell you why. So As the Cricut cuts out and as we think about doing a waterslide decal, one of the keys is to make sure that you don't have a lot of tiny pieces, really thin, fragile pieces kind of floating around that you're going to have to take special care of. And Exhibit A is all of these flowers in the back of this truck. So I definitely chose this file purposely because I wanted to show you guys how to change your mindset in order to create something like this and turn it into a really good waterslide decal. So if we just selected and erased, let's just click right here. And if we zoom in, we can see all of the parts that we have selected and erased, and it just kind of went in all the little grooves of these flowers. Well, we don't want to do that because then the Cricut would cut all of this out, and then we would have to worry about that as we would remove the backing from our waterslide decal, and there is just no way that we would get success with all these little bitty pieces. So I'm going to click the undo button. And I'm going to come in a little bit more for us so we can see a little bit better. And now guys, I'm going to click erase. So this one's in the middle. There's select and erase, crop, and then erase. And you can actually choose your size of eraser that you want. So I'm going to go pretty small for this one. And let me show you what we're going to do. So I'm actually going to go even smaller than that. I'm going to go in here. You can see my little cursor here. And I'm going to start down here, okay? You can actually start wherever you want to. But essentially, we're going to be making a loop because, again, he's going to be clear and you're not really going to notice if we leave a lot of that there. So I'm just going to start here and get as close to this truck as you can. Good. And now we're just going to work our way around. Now, you absolutely can kind of go in these little grooves if you want to. I'm just going to kind of go with the natural shape of it. I'm not going to go too far into the grooves. I'm just going to kind of go up and loop around, and this is going to be so much easier for the Cricut to cut as well because it's not going to be working so hard to get in all these little bitty grooves. And then you guys are not going to have to worry about figuring out how to make this in a successful way because, guys, there's just not one to make all of these work as a waterslide decal. So you got to keep that in mind, you know. But I'm teaching you guys this because I don't want you to feel like you can't make basically whatever you want using a waterslide decal, because you totally can. So this is a great little hack, little workaround there. So I'm just going to bring it on down, guys, and I'm going to actually have to touch the green of that truck a little bit because now when I go back up here and I'm going to click select and erase, we're just going to test this to see if we have done our job. So we're going to click above it. And we did do our job. So you can see we cut into our truck just a little bit over here on the right side. And then you can't really tell on the back that we did anything. And then we're going to zoom out now and see what we've got. And this looks great, guys. This is exactly what we want to see. This is going to be so much easier to cut, so much easier to work with. And this is going to be successful. So there's no need to you know, slice out the window or anything like that. Just leave it as is, and this is a beautiful little cut file we've created here. So now you can go ahead and click continue, save as a print and cut image, and then you can just bring them right into your canvas here. So it's really easy to do that, guys, and here we just have them all imported. And I'm actually going to import our little cactus friend again, and I'm going to get our lovebirds file. Right there he is. So we're going to insert him as well. And now, guys, what you're going to want to do is think about the border that you want around your images. So here, if we click on this lovebirds file, we can see that if we were to just go ahead and print and cut this, it would print and cut it all out separately. All the letters out separately, the birds out separately, the little heart. And we don't want it to do that. So we're going to have to get a shape and flatten it all together so that the waterslide decal will be round, you know, and it won't cut out all those little details because, again, we want to eliminate the variables for an unsuccessful project. And having to waterslide all those individual letters and shapes would be awful. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab a little shape here. Circles are working fine, you know. Then we're just going to go to the bottom left-hand corner and click that unlock button. And I'm just going to kind of stretch this guy into a bit of an oval here. You can make it as big as you would like. You can always resize it later. And I'm going to lock that back. And I'm going to change his color just to something a little less harsh like gray. Now I'm going to slide our little birds in. And you can see we can't see them, and that's because they went behind the layer. So we're going to go up to the top layers panel and click arrange. So that's right up here next to flip, we're going to click arrange, click send to front, and it just sends our little birdies up to the front here. And now we're just going to size this guy up until we like how it's sized, and I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to select all of those and click align and center. So it centered it up for us, and I like this shape. This is a good shape to go on our mug. It doesn't necessarily have to be round, but it can be round if you want it to be round. So I can take this circle and make it more round, and then put our birds in it, and I can make our birds a little bit bigger if you would like. It really is just personal preference on what you want to do. So then again, once you kind of think you might like it, we're going to click align and align center there. And now we're going to change the color from this gray to this white, because we essentially don't want it to print anything. You know, we just kind of want it to weld right there together. So once you have these and you like the way they are, you can see in the layers panel they are on different layers here. So the solution for that is we're going to drag and select both of these layers. You can see that in the layers panel, and we're going to go down to the bottom here right next to slice, weld and attach, and we're going to click flatten. And now if you pay attention to the layers panel, you can see they are all one layer. It has been flattened, and this will cut well for us. So now before we move on to the other decals, you need to make sure that you size this correctly for your cup. So depending on the size of your cup, the width of your cup, you know, whatever it might be, they'll all be different. So for our cup up here is basically the perfect size for us. It's just a little more than 3 inches wide, and about 3.759 inches high. So it's not very precise, as you can tell, but it's round about the perfect size for us. So just make sure that you size it the way that you want it to fit your cup well. And now we're going to move on to our cactus. So these guys are going to print, of course, on that Waterslide paper for us, and we can print as many of these as we would like. I don't like to waste paper a lot, so I'm going to print as many as I can on a sheet, or at least, you know, just enough to get us a couple lines. And you can make a circle just like we did the first time and add it over, behind our cactus and weld it all together, just like we did up here. So we did the exact same thing with our lovebirds, just with our cactus. Or you can just go ahead and print all of these out as is and hand cut them like I mentioned. Again, I will show you how to do both ways. With our lovebirds, we are going to let these cut just because I do want that circle or oval to be a little bit more precise. With the cactuses, I think we're just going to go ahead and hand cut these, but we can leave them on the circle because it's really not going to do any harm to us. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy. And for our keychains, for our specific acrylic circles, the decal doesn't need to be any larger than 2 by 2. So we just made our perfect circle 2 inches by 2 inches, and we're good to go there. And now last but not least, our beautiful Easter beautiful flower truck file that we have. We are just going to make sure we measure twice, measure 3 times, and cut once with this. We don't want to make any mistakes. So measure whatever size sign you have, and ours fit really well with the truck being a little over 9 inches wide and a little over 5 inches high. So once you have these sized the way that you want them, we are going to make some duplicates of these. So for the lovebirds, I want to make 4 of them. So I'm just going to click duplicate 3 times to make 4 of them. And for our cactuses here, I'm actually going to have 9 cactuses. So I'm just going to click duplicate 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we are good to go. We can go ahead and click make it. And we can see our truck here is on first, and then we have our lovebirds, and then we have our little cactuses here. Now we don't have to mirror these, of course. We're just going to be printing these out on this Waterslide paper. So make sure that you go ahead and load the paper into your printer. It depends on what printer you have as to what direction you need to load your paper. If you have a top tray on your printer, then generally the paper is Waterslide decal facing you, and then if you have a bottom loading printer, it's usually Waterslide decal facing down, so it would be like backing up for that. So just read up on your particular printer settings and make sure you do load that paper in correctly. And we're just going to go ahead and click continue, and we're just going to go ahead, guys, and send all of these to the printer. Now the only one we want to leave bleed on is our truck, and you actually do not have to if your machine is calibrated well, but just in case, you can leave bleed on your little truck there. But then the rest of them we're not going to leave bleed on. We're going to turn bleed off for these guys. So just go ahead and go down the line and print all these out, and then we will be right back. Okay guys, here they are all printed out. They printed beautifully. They did not need nearly as much time to dry as I thought. And what we're going to do next, guys, is spray these with polyurethane. So this is the most important part when creating a Waterslide decal, is to spray them. So a lot of people might think you need to spray them afterwards, but that's incorrect. You actually are going to spray them before you cut them. So we're going to be using our, again, Minwax Clear Satin Fast Drying Polyurethane Spray here. And I have found, guys, that the sweet spot is 5 coats. So if you guys want to kind of do the math on that, I would let them dry about an hour in between coats, and then I'm going to just be safe and say overnight after the 5th coat. So depending on how thick or thin you lay your coats on, I would do thin coats, and 5 to 7 coats is about the sweet spot you want to hit. Now, I will tell you the importance of that. So the more coats of polyurethane you have, the thicker your actual Waterslide decal will be, and the less likely it will be to bunch up or peel up or shred or anything like that. So you want a good sturdy Waterslide decal, so the more coats you put on, the better. But again, you don't want to go super nuts with it and put like 10 coats on and have it, you know, have trouble cutting and things like that. So be mindful of that as well. So here's what we're going to do to spray these guys. So I would definitely recommend doing this in a well ventilated area, but we're just going to do a little bit today just to kind of show you how it works. But again, let it dry about an hour in between coats, and then yeah, so all you're going to do is you're going to shake this guy up, and you're just going to spray a good thin coat all over your decals here. Alrighty, these are all sprayed. These have about 5 or 6 coats on. I might have lost count, but that's okay. But they are perfect. They're ready to go. They've dried overnight as well. And as you can see, it looks maybe just a little less white. You can kind of see the crisp white here. And that is just what polyurethane does. It's not really a problem. If it goes a little yellow, don't be alarmed. It will look totally fine on the base that you choose. So now, guys, we're going to go ahead and cut all these out. We're going to start with our truck here. So we're going to take our little truck, bring in our mat, and since our truck is first on Design Space, that's just what we're going to do first. Just going to lay this guy on here, and it would be nice to have a brayer, you know, to make sure he's on the mat good, because you don't want to be rubbing it too much, okay? So once this is on here, we're going to go ahead and load it into our machine and let it cut out, as well as our little lovebirds. But our cactuses, you can let these cut out, or you can hand cut them. I think we're just going to hand cut a couple today, but you can totally go ahead and just let the Cricut do the work for that. Also, guys, I wanted to bring you back in Design Space to show you what we are going to be choosing for our material today, and that is going to be craft board. So this is Waterslide decal paper, but it's not like vinyl where we want to leave the backing or anything like that. We really want this to cut out through and through really well. So I'm going to select our craft board setting here, and I'm actually going to give it more pressure. So you can either use the craft board setting, you can use a really heavy cardstock setting, whatever you'd like to do. But for us, we have used the craft board setting, and it has worked flawlessly every time. And once it's cut, guys, it's really super flawless. It just peels up effortlessly, and then you just have a perfect Waterslide decal. Alright, guys, now we have all of these cut out, and I just went through and hand cut a couple of these cute little cactuses. It took me 2 seconds. You just want to take your little cactuses here, and again, you can cut these with the Cricut if you want to, but I kind of like that the shape is kind of around the cactus, so that's all you really have to do. is just kind of cut around these little guys, and it takes 2 seconds to do, and it's really, really cute. So that's all that we did for these little guys. And then of course we cut out our little lovebirds in our truck. So now we're going to go ahead and get started on applying these Waterslide decals. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our mug first. Our tumbler. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay down a paper towel, and you can remove the lid or leave the lid on. It's totally personal preference. And we're just going to lay this guy down here. And while we have him laid down well, and what that paper towel does, as well as will catch some of the water we use, it also kind of holds him stable because sometimes he doesn't really like to stick. Now we're just going to be wiping down our mug and cleaning it off. And now once I have let this guy dry after you've wiped him, we have our bowl of water here, and we're also going to keep our squirt bottle close by. And we have our decal, and I also have a timer set on my watch. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dunk him in the water and hold him there because he's going to want to curl up, and we're just going to let him chill in the water for 1 minute. So I'm going to hit my timer and dip him in. So now our minute is up, and I just pulled this guy up out of the water. So what you're going to want to do next is spray your tumbler really well with water. So you're just going to put a bunch of sprays on your tumbler here. And once he is good and wet, that is what we want. We want him to be a water slide. So once he is good and wet, I can get y'all a little tighter in here. Here's our decal here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of lay him on our tumbler. And once you like where he's at relatively, you can totally move him around. All you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb and index fingers on both sides and just kind of move them across from each other, and it kind of will reveal the top of your little Waterslide decal there. And all you'll have to do is hold the top here, and the bottom is exposed on here, and you just grab it and start to slowly pull it out. And once you pull it out, you can go ahead and remove your backing. And guys, it's really weird because it's so slimy, you know, that Waterslide decal paper is, so it's really neat to work with. And then we're going to spray some more over it. And we're just going to start to position. Now it's really, you can move it around as much as you want, so just make sure you have it placed where you want it. And then when you have it relatively where you want it, you can go ahead and start working some of that water out from underneath the decal. And now, guys, what I like to do is get another paper towel and wrap it around this guy and kind of press down, and I'll just kind of push out from the inside. And I'll remove my paper towel, and now you can see maybe you can see there's a couple little creases in here, and those are really easy to get out. They're just from the water, so you can just move those. You can get a little paper towel and shift those out too. They'll move out for you relatively easily. And you can see it's kind of shifted on us a little bit. So you can spray it down again and move it back how you want it. Just until you get it precise. It's all about, whatever you want. And you can wet it and dry it as many times as you want to. It's going to take quite a while to dry, so you don't have to worry about it drying while you're working with it. And once you push all of those little creases out, you're left with a beautiful little decal on your tumbler here. And all you want to do is set this guy somewhere that's not going to get too dusty or get knocked over or anything like that, and just let it dry overnight. Alright guys, next up is the Cactus here. And just like we did last time, there's still a little bit of alcohol on here. We're just going to kind of wipe this guy off just to make sure he's nice and clean. And just like we did the other time, we're just going to dunk this little cactus in water for 60 seconds and then peel him up and get going with our decal. And while he's still soaking, I'm just going to spray our little keychain there to get him all wet and ready for us. And now I'm just going to pick him up out of the water here. And I'll scoot the camera in so you guys can see exactly what we're doing, because I know this one's way smaller. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this decal down, and I do see the hole here. So the hole is already cut in this acrylic for the keychain hook thing. So we're just going to make sure we try and line them up with that. So we're just going to apply them on here. And just like we did last time, we're just going to hold the top of them very gently and then peel out the bottom. Just keep peeling that out. See how easy that was, guys? And that is in part because of the layers of polyurethane that we applied to it. The layers really make it a lot more durable. So now again, I'm just going to kind of pat it dry here. and make sure I like where it is. Again, I can move it around if I want to. This one slips and slides easy. You can make it offset if you want to. You can try and line them up just perfect, however you want to do that. And again, guys, this one is so easy. Just lay them somewhere to dry, and then you're just going to be able to put a little keychain on them and be ready to go. Okay, last but not least is going to be our beautiful little truck. So again, we're going to get some alcohol here and wipe down our base. And then as he is drying, guys, we actually had to recruit a much bigger bowl for our truck here. So we have the bowl of water here, and we're going to let him sit for 60 seconds just like the other one. So I'm going to get the timer back on my phone. I'm going to hit my timer and dunk him in. And he's going to really want to curl up on you, so make sure you do have a couple of fingers on him on each side just to make sure that he's not going to curl up too much and that all of the areas get submerged equally. And again, while he soaks, we are going to soak our sign here. So we're just going to make it all nice and wet and ready for our decal. Alright, so I just peeled him up out of the water, and he's already wanting to come off on me, so I know this one is going to be so easy to do. So a great rule of thumb here is that you want to peel your backing off in the direction that it's going to cause the least amount of harm. So I'm going to come in a little bit and show you guys what I mean. So these little plants up here are a little bit more fragile, a little more delicate than like these tires would be per se. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling our decal this way and pulling the back up from this way. And that way our flowers will not roll underneath if we're pulling it the other way and get flipped under or anything like that. So it really does make a difference. So be sure to think about things like that. And again, just pull that back out, toss it, and position this guy where you want to. I mean, he'll just kind of move right wherever you want him to, which is really neat. So while he is situating, I'm just going to kind of pat dry around him here and decide where I want him. And once you like where he's at, just go ahead and dry it more. And of course, you'll have to reposition him because he's so slippy slidey anyways. So I'm going to try and dry this guy off. And again, we're going to try and move that water out from underneath there, but it will dry on its own as well, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Now reposition it again. And once you like where he's at, it's just as easy as laying him to the side and allowing him to fully dry overnight. And then that is the part after it's dry where you can decide if you want to seal it or not. And you can use, again, one of those three that I mentioned, the spray, the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, or the epoxy. It's totally whatever you'd like to do. For a sign like this, like I mentioned, I would recommend the spray polyurethane, but it's totally whatever you'd like to do. I hope that you all enjoyed this video and had so much fun learning how to create a bunch of different types of Waterslide decals. I sure had fun making it, and I hope you guys had just as much fun watching it. Again, guys, you can get all of these cut files free, so definitely click the link down below and grab those because you do not want to miss out on getting crafty with those. And also, guys, you don't want to miss out on being a member for us. So if you love what you see here and you just want to be lifted up and inspired and educated to be a better crafter, Maker's Gonna Learn is the solution for you. Our yearly members pay the least amount of money for the most amount of our resources, and they have so much fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!